admitted into the Preston School of Industry. They'd been processed in, they took their shower, they took their, after the dip bath, got on their new Preston School of Industry clothing, all of which were made here on the premises. And there would be rows of beds in here where they'd sleep.
Okay.
And little cubby holes for their personal belongings.
Now, I noticed we got wine barrels in here now, so this isn't where they had their kegers too, was it?
Well, yeah, the boys did learn every trade that was important for the times, but no, winemaking wasn't one of them.
Okay, so this must have been for one of the events then.
Yes.
All right, but let's look at the cubby holes. I want to see this is where they put their belongings, huh? So there wasn't a whole lot of personal space, was there?
Well, no. And then later on in years, they had lockers, but in the beginning, they just had these cubby holes. So you probably had another change of clothes and maybe a book or something like that, and that was it.
Okay. Now, where did they eat? I guess about that time might be lunch or breakfast, depending on when they got here, huh?
The day room, which was a classroom, it was an eating hall, and it was also their religious services were right in here.
Oh. Now,
You might notice the crosses on the walls.
yeah, I'm particularly curious about this piece here. Now, Roger, I want you to pan across it. Would you explain this to us, what this is here?
Well, we found this in a closet, and we think that a young man did this probably in the 1950s. It says, "Planting seeds, harvesting justice." You see a young man, he's being tempted by the devil. He goes to prison. He finds God. They taught Christianity here. There wasn't much separation between church and state. And then he became a successful citizen. So this is a beautiful piece of artwork. We wish we could find out who the artist is.
Oh, so you don't have any idea who might have put this together then?
No, because he was a juvenile, the state won't release that information for us.
Oh.
So I can't quite read it.
Yeah, it's
Agriero, Stucco, Cordero, Renteria.
Well, let's do this. Roger, come on over here. Now, what I'd like to do is all you YouTubers out there, I'd like you to take a good look at this, because there may be somebody out there that their grandpa or somebody might know something about this piece, because we'd sure love to have that for the information, the history stuff for here at the castle. Excuse me for that little piece there. But go ahead and pan on it one more time. Because if you can tell us who put this beautiful piece of art together, we'd love to have that for the record books.
Who knows what travels he's taken.
Yeah, exactly, and it would be neat to know. Now, so obviously they ate here. I see we have what looks like a dumbwaiter over here. So what was the story here? Was this the food being brought up and down, or pretty much anything that would fit?
Actually, they have a little kitchen over here.
Uh-huh.
And it has a draining board, a sink, and they actually have, I don't know quite how that worked back in the very beginning, but they would make some meals here and they would pass it through here.
Ah.
In the beginning, there were only 7 wards, but of course, as time went by and there were more and more wards here, this was not the eating place. This was really just the eating place in the very beginning. This was more a place for classrooms, some of your personal time, doing puzzles, playing games, reading.
And it was used as a chapel.
Yeah.
Oh, so
There were church pews down here.
let's take a look, because we got the stencil here on the wall. So we got the crosses up here, and it looks to me we've even got a pulpit. So it could have been here, right here, the kids all out there. We're going to sing Amazing Grace, and they could have went right for it, right here.
They were known for their choir. Actually,
Oh,
they
really?
even sang in the White House. And I think that was where she would sit and conduct the choir.
Oh, the little
Or
stoop
stand.
here, it's sitting up on end now.
Uh-huh.
But this is the area where the choir conductor would have stood up there and would have done her thing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I like that. So there were some light moments here in Preston Castle. Not everything was quite so frightening.
Right, not everything.
Excellent, excellent. Now, where do we go from here? What would happen next?
Well, what will happen
pretty much the boys would spend their days out doing their chores. There was actually 3 parts to the boys' life. Part of it was education, so the mornings they'd spend in classrooms getting education. Most of the rest of the day they'd spend on their trades, their vocational training, their work, their jobs. They learned how to do everything here, from making clothes and shoes to building buildings, making bricks, carpentry, masonry.
Nursing, everything you can
They
think
grew
of.
all their own food, raised livestock. There was a large farm.
A librarian, 7,000
Just
books.
about anything that needed done, that was part of the training the boys would be involved in, so they could learn something useful while they were here and be able to support themselves once they were released.
Now, did they partake in some of these goods? I mean, were they self-efficient?
Absolutely. All the clothing they wore, the shoes they wore, the buttons that were on their uniforms,
The
all
food
made right
they
here.
ate.
Now, in relation to the shoes, I remember you telling me before, Jerry, a little story about the soles of the shoes. Do you mind sharing that with our audience?
Well, sure. One of the aspects of this institution was that it wasn't fenced in. It was a correctional, like a prison, but it was open to the outside. We're way out here in Ione in rural Amador County, quite a ways from anywhere. And the boys sometimes did want to escape, even though this was a life that was probably better for most of them. Sometimes they did. Their only choice really was to walk away and run away. But there was guards on horseback, and they could ride after them. And to make it a little easier to track them, all of the shoes on the heel had a V notch cut out of it. So it'd be very obvious that the boy was a Preston ward when they were tracking him.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier for trackers. Now, so obviously the place was self-efficient and everybody had a role. Now, did everybody live in Preston Castle itself, or were there outer units?
Oh yeah, the castle itself, what we castle now, is really the administration building for the whole Preston School of Industry.
Okay.
And it eventually grew to be over 1,000 acres, 50, 60 different buildings scattered throughout. So for the most part, the boys lived in various cottages, as they were called, that were scattered throughout the property near where their trades were being performed.
But these cottages would house anywhere from 40 to 60 boys. They weren't small, they were quite large.
Oh, I see.
And that would be where they would sleep, eat, and learn their trades.
Okay.